Okay, I am live. Hello, everybody. Am I live? I'm live. Okay. I am confirmed live. We are live. Okay, thanks. Bye. Okay, everybody. Hello. I am excited for tonight's lesson. Sales 101, week 4. We're going to talk about why people buy people and not products. Hello, Mary. Hello, Brian. Welcome. It's going to be a quick, fun course tonight. This one I feel like is, hi, Sherry. This one tonight I feel like is really important because not everybody on the planet is outgoing and has the desire to talk to whoever. I am very outgoing, but not everyone's like that. So a lot of these things, if you're outgoing, a lot of these things might just seem kind of like duh to you, but there's people out there that don't at all have any desire to talk to complete strangers or really know exactly what to do when you're in a situation when you really need to kind of open up and really be that outgoing person. So there are some steps and some ways to do it, and I've tried to compile these together, and I'm gonna kind of walk through some of the things that I've learned over the last 20 some odd years that I've been in sales, and hopefully it helps someone out there. So again, this is Sales 101. This is week 4. People buy people, not products. Okay, so the most important thing when you're in a selling situation and you are actually you're in front of someone and you're meeting them for the very first time, the most important thing that you have on your outfit is your smile. Like literally, even if you don't feel like smiling, put one on and fake it till you make it. But introduce yourself to people that you meet, people that maybe you're going to sell to, or maybe you're just going to practice and you're going to go out in the community and work on this. Introduce yourself with a firm handshake, a full handshake, not just like the ends of the finger, dead meat in your hands type handshake, but like a full on, take the whole hand, give it a squeeze, handshake and a smile. That means so much to people. And literally what that does is that transfers a feeling of comfort to the other person. So that person immediately becomes comfortable with you because you have made yourself completely open and available to them with your smile and your handshake and just being warm and inviting. So super, super duper important when you first meet someone. That handshake is huge. So when you introduce yourself, the next natural thing that's going to happen is they're going to introduce themselves to you, and you're going to learn their name. Names are the sweetest and most important sound in any language. It is so important for other people to hear their names. I'm going to give you an example. The other day I was at a guard check. I was going into a community to meet with a client, and she said that my name was in there incorrectly, and she told me what my name. I gave her my driver's license, so she knew that it was me, and she told me that it didn't matter. And I thought immediately how much it did matter. It really did matter. Like, my name is so important to me. And when someone gets it wrong, it makes me feel uncomfortable. Or when someone forgets it, especially someone who wants to sell me something. Another great example, I had a man wanting to sell me a car, and he called me Louise. And I thought immediately, and it was in a text message, so it could have been easily corrected before he sent it to me. I thought how unprofessional that was. And Actually, it has proven to be the prerequisite to a lot of other professional things that have happened with this particular salesperson. So I can just say that, learning someone's name and saying it properly is so important. That is so important. So when you first meet someone and you shake their hand and you're starting to get to know them, say their name 3 times within the first 5 minutes. Find a way to say their names. Okay, Joe, so this is the best phone number I can reach you at? Okay, Joe, so tell me, what brought you in today? Okay, Joe, it's really exciting to be able to show you everything new we have. Just make sure you're saying their name. That's like super important, and people love to hear their name. Okay, so now that those pleasantries are out of the way, why do people buy? So there's lots of reasons that people buy. The main reason people buy is because of how they feel. Most people's buying decision is emotional. That is one of the most important things about selling psychology, is that most people's decision to buy something happens because of a way they feel. And most people's decision not to buy something is because of how they feel. So that is, really, if you think about that, how awesome that is. You have so much control over what you're selling just by the way you make people feel. And that will move me on to the next slide here by Maya Angelou. People will forget most of what you say, and they will forget most of what you've done, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So going back to the salesperson that I talked about a little while ago, when he mispronounced my name, or not just mispronounced it, but literally called me a totally different name. And then our appointment was kind of askewed, and then when he showed me the car, he did some things that were not what I was expecting, like he didn't let me sit in the driver's seat. All of these things made me feel a certain way, and it wasn't a positive feeling. And so as a result, I have chosen not to purchase a vehicle from him. And I have had other sales situations that have gone the complete other way, where the salesperson made me feel so good about them that I bought something from them right away. I felt like I needed to buy something from them. I wanted to purchase from them. And that is where people buy people, not products. So how you make people feel is really, really going to determine if they purchase from you or not. So, it's so important. And so many of your feelings that you have are transferred to them subconsciously. Your feelings are transferred to them. So that's, we'll get into that, but that's so super important that you're protecting your emotions and that you're controlling them. And I think we talked about this in an earlier course about telling your emotions to get down in the box and stay down there until you need to use them, right? So that's, feelings are so important in the psychology of sales, really super important. Be such a good soul that people crave your vibes. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of go through a day in the life of me as a salesperson. And I'm just going to use a past experience when I was working in corporate America, and I was going to work at my sales job. So on the way to work, I literally had to shake off everything that had happened to me at home everything that had happened in the last 24 hours. I had to shake all that off, and I had to change my paradigm. I had to change my vibration. So, and because when I'm walking into my place of business that I'm going to actively be doing sales, my vibrations and my energy, they're all over me. And those are the tools that I'm going to use to convince people to buy from me. Okay? So when a plumber goes to work, he needs his toolbox. When a salesperson goes to work, you need your vibration and your energy and all that good stuff that's going to make people want to be around you and to buy from you. Be such a good soul that people crave your vibes. So here's how you do it. Okay, so first of all, you prepare your mind for sales, which is setting a goal in your mind of what you're going to do that day. Either meditate or say a prayer. If you're driving, keep your eyes open. Either meditate or say a prayer. I would usually choose to say a prayer on my way. I would then claim my goal. I would claim it. It's mine. And then I would ask to have the right people put in front of me that day. And then when I walked into work, I was ready. I was ready. I was ready to work. I was ready to make money. And my paycheck was a direct reflection of when I did that. Because if I went to work and did not do that, and I came in pissed off at somebody or aggravated with one of my kids, or maybe I just had an argument with someone, if I came in with that, that vibration is low and I don't have my tools. Preparation is so super important. Be such a good soul that people crave your vibes. I love that, right? I didn't write that. I can't take credit for that. I found it on the internet. Okay, so all of these excerpts that I'm putting up tonight are from a book, and it is, spoiler alert, it is from our book suggestion for tonight. And our book suggestion is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And it is, if you are really wanting to pursue a career in sales, this is one of the key books that you need to read. Literally will help you change the way that you talk to people, the way that you listen to people, and the way that you handle people. Because when people come to you to buy, they are little lumps of clay, and you can work with them, but you got to know how to do it. Okay, so fundamental techniques in handling people. This is all from the book. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. So remember we talked about those vibrations? Those vibrations do not get raised by criticizing, condemning, or complaining. So first rule of thumb, don't ever complain about anything around you or anyone to a potential client or customer. Don't talk about how hot it is outside. Don't talk about how much you hate our president. Don't talk about how much your kids are driving you crazy. All of these things are bringing down your energy. Don't condemn. Don't talk ugly about a competitor. That is the worst thing that you can do, is talk ugly about a competitor. It makes you look ugly, mean. It makes you look insecure. So it's a bad thing to do. Don't condemn other people or competitors. Competition is great, by the way, and we'll have a whole lesson on that. And don't criticize. Don't criticize anyone around you, and certainly don't criticize or judge your customer. So if your customer is sharing with you a problem that they have, don't ever put forth judgment or criticism, because that is definitely a turnoff. Criticism is often futile and merely puts people on the defensive. Instead, try to understand why people do what they do. So, and that's with that. This isn't even with a customer. This is just with people in general. When you criticize someone, you literally put a wall up in between the two of you. And that creates total division. You can't reach anyone if you're criticizing. Give honest and sincere appreciation. I read something the other day that was so cool, and I have been really trying to put it into action. It's about, and this is kind of within this, but I mean, this is definitely kind of on a different lane, but instead of saying, I'm sorry, say thank you. So I'm sorry I'm late. Instead, say thank you for waiting for me. If maybe you've been a little needy with a friend, instead of saying, I'm sorry, I'm so needy, thank you for being there for me. I'm sorry I can't make it would be replaced with, thank you for letting me reschedule. So I think that's like, not only does that like really like show that you appreciate them, but it also shows that you appreciate yourself and you appreciate their time. So if you can arouse enthusiasm in people and a sense of goodwill, you can begin to realize the true power of appreciation. Be anxious to praise and loath to find fault, but be sincere in your appreciation. So finding something great about someone and then telling them about it and how much you appreciate being a part of it is so important. And, you know, there's also that whole thing of who you hang around. So if you can't find something that you really love about someone, it might not be the person you need to be around. Okay. When it comes to customers, you can't really pick and choose that, but just, you know, in friendship realm. So making sure that with your clients that, you know, when I go to someone's house, the first thing I say is, after I introduce myself and shake their hands, I always say, thank you so much for having us out. They called on me for my service, and I want them to know that I appreciate it. You know, and then if they introduce me to one of their pets, thank you so much for letting me have some time with your pet. People love to be acknowledged in any way. They love to be acknowledged. And if you think about that, especially if you're in sales, one of the things that you love most about your sales, one of the things I loved most about my sales career was getting awards, and I got a lot of them. And I loved that. That was one of my favorite things in the world, was getting awards from people or from my company and being recognized. And everyone is that way. Everyone wants to be acknowledged and praised. It is really, really important in human behavior to do that for one another. Arouse in the other person an eager want. So Henry Ford said that if there's anyone's secret of success, it lies in the ability to get the other person's point of view and see things from a person's angle as well as from your own. Put the other person's wants before you own and convince them how they can benefit. So when you're selling something to someone, you have to be able to help people to want what you have. So, when you put their needs above your own and you really listen to them, you can find a solution for their problem with what you have. And when they see you do that, they then want what you have. Okay? I'll bring it from a shoe salesperson point of view. When I used to sell shoes, if someone came in with some really painful places on their feet, I could talk with them about certain shoes that were made for that and show them how much better their particular problem would feel if they had this particular pair of shoes, showing them, in different areas. And that would make that person want to try that shoe. and and then they would understand how they would benefit. So really listening to what's going on with them, being appreciative of their time, and then listening is going to encourage them to give you the information you need to find what is going to fill their need, and then they're going to want what you have. Okay, 6 ways to make people like you. This is super duper important in the world of sales. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger because I don't know if you guys can see this or not. Okay, 6 ways to make people like you. So 1 is to become genuinely interested in people. Okay, so let's talk about being genuine. You know, and I know that you can pick out a fake person. It's very easy to pick out a fake person. Someone who is not the least bit, really concerned with you, but try to make it seem like that. So everybody can sense that, right? Most people do. Some people don't, but most people can sense it. So it's super important when you're trying to really influence someone to be genuinely interested in them, asking a lot of questions, not talking about yourself, but listen to them talk about themselves. So care about them and their interests. Do things for others that require time, energy, unselfishness, and thoughtfulness. You can make more friends in 2 months by becoming genuinely interested in other people than you can in 2 years to get people interested in you. So listen, I'm going to tell you that most people are way more interested in themselves than they are in you. So it would just make sense that if you became more interested in them, you would have something in common, right? So if you're just interested in yourself and they're just interested in themselves, you don't have a whole lot in common, right? So you have to be genuinely interested and maybe even a little amazed at other people, especially when you find someone that's like really talented. Make sure that you're pointing those things out, and maybe just practice that at the grocery store. If you see someone who's wearing a really cute blouse or they have a nice haircut, mention it. Tell them that. I know when someone says something to me in public, just out of the blue, it makes me feel so good. I recently got my hair a different color, and I've had a couple of people mention it. And it has made me feel so confident with my hair. And that is such a huge asset to have that ability to be able to do that. But it takes practice. I mean, it literally takes us getting out of our own minds and getting into someone else's, surrounding and saying something nice about them. And that will attract people to you. People will start coming to you and talking to you. And, it raises your vibration. Doing kind things and talking, it raises your vibration. Smile. We already talked about smiles, but a smile says, I like you. You make me happy. I am glad to see you. It's been said that people who smile tend to manage, teach, and sell more effectively and raise happier children. It's a simple enough idea. Who knows why so few people seem to follow it? And I know that I'm out in public, and I mean, it's like some of the faces I see, I'm like, whoa. And I smile at them, but they don't smile back. And that's okay, because I did my part. I smiled at them. And when you see someone else smiling out and about, doesn't that like make you happy? It always makes me feel so good inside when someone smiles at me. I think that is such a nice thing to do. And people who smile at people, it does say, I like you and you make me happy and I'm glad to see you, which will make people more comfortable to talk to you and to buy from you. And which is the ultimate end game in this whole series is buy from me. Use a person's name. We talked about that, and it said that, remember that a person's name is to that person the sweetest and most important sound in any language. Make an effort to remember a person's name on the first try and use it when directly referring to them, interacting with others about them, naming projects, etc. Think about this. Think about when you're in a party of 3 people and one person knows you and the other person doesn't. And the person that knows you is talking about you by name to the other person, telling them great things about you and how good that makes you feel to hear your name being spoken by them to another person. That always makes me feel good. I know it makes everyone feel good. And that is such a great thing to do, to use someone's name in a conversation with someone else when you're saying something great about them. Great about them. Encourage others to talk about themselves. So become an attentive listener. Become a habitual listener. That would be the word. Like literally, don't talk at all and just listen. To be interesting, be interested, ask questions that people enjoy answering, encourage them to talk about themselves and their accomplishments. You know, I mean, you can talk to someone, you can let someone talk to you for 5 minutes and you're going to know a lot about them in those 5 minutes, right? And then you can start asking them questions about those things and really engaging with them. And by doing that, you're building trust and you're building rapport and you're building an area of comfort. They feel comfortable because they've given you a little piece of themselves. Talk in terms of the other person's interest. So keep in mind what they talk to you about, and then talk about, relate something about yourself or what's around you to that person's interest. So try and focus on what that person is interested in and talk about it. Franklin Roosevelt, before having a visitor in his office, used to study topics he knew his guests would be interested in and discussing before they came over. Okay, so we're going to kind of zoom in right now on this and talk about social media marketing. So when you're marketing on social media and you're reaching out to people on social media and trying to connect with people, the first thing that I do is I go to their Facebook page and I look at their Facebook page and I see what they're interested in and what they enjoy, what they're about. And then I use that to reach out and say, hi, how are you? And try to ask them some questions about something that I feel like they're probably interested in and open that dialogue. And they will talk back to me. They'll communicate back with me. And I've then made a new friend. And that is literally what networking is all about. Just making friends. Isn't that cool? I mean, what else would you want to do? Okay, so make the other person feel important. So remember what we talked about with Maya Angelou, that people won't remember what you did and they won't remember what you said, but they will remember how you made them feel. So make them feel important, like you are the most important person in the world to me right now. And that's how you need to make people feel. William James said the deepest principle in human nature is the craving to be appreciated, to be acknowledged, to be spoken to in a way that they know that they are important to you. Help someone feel appreciated, and how could they not like you? I mean, really, I feel the same way. Yes, for sure. Okay, moving on. Okay, win people to your way of thinking. So the only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it. So I would say that no matter what happens in your professional life, in people that you are wanting to do business with or wanting to sell something to or wanting to pick up as a client, to never, ever, ever argue with them. They might be completely wrong, but don't worry about it. You're not going to change that. You're only going to lose a customer or a friend or a contact or a client. That's all that's going to happen. It's only going to be bad for both of you. So don't engage in arguments, no matter what it is. No matter what it is, just don't engage in it. And a lot of times I found that when I felt like it was becoming tense and there was going to be an argument involved, that I would just change the subject and be like, okay, well, that could be true. And then change the subject. Show respect for the other person's opinions. Never ever say you're wrong. So especially, I mean, think about the climate in the world today, or in the United States anywhere. Think about the climate right now. I mean, we are such a divided nation. And everyone is very passionate about their opinions. And our opinions are just that. They are opinions. And we may think they're wrong and they think that we're wrong, but that's it. It's just our opinions. I heard Bob Proctor say this when I was in Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago, and I thought this was just so huge to me. He said, nothing is big or small. Only our mind makes it so. And that is how I feel about opinions. They are neither right or wrong. It's just our mind that makes it so. That person's opinion and my opinion are of no importance when it comes to trying to develop a relationship with a client, customer, friend, whatever. Those are of no importance. My dad used to say opinions are like belly buttons. Everybody's got one. It's just not important. So never say someone's wrong because of their opinion. It's not going to get you anywhere. I just think if someone said it to you, you're not going to change your opinion. Now, if you are wrong to someone, so if you have wronged someone or you have said something wrong to someone, admit it quickly and emphatically, and then get past it. Move on. Because guess what? Just like you, people are probably pretty quick to forgive if you come forward and say, I was wrong, and then move on and continue on with your journey towards developing this client, customer, friend, connection, whatever. Begin in a friendly way. So remember those vibrations all over you? Those vibrations? When you approach someone, they can feel those, and you have your smile, and it's already a friendly environment. So every connection you make, every person you meet, begin that in a friendly way. Get the other person saying yes, yes immediately. So that comes to asking questions. And I used to strategically think about questions I would ask people, and I would make sure that it was a question that would generate a yes. So, for instance, if someone came into our shoe department, I would immediately say hi, and I would introduce myself and do that whole thing, and then, are you here today looking for a new pair of shoes? And that would, yes, immediately. And then another question, whatever question that would get them saying yes. You want them to be saying yes to you from the beginning. Sales psychology. Let the other person sorry about the typo there. Let the other person do most of the talking. So you want them to start talking about themselves to you. You're asking questions, you've got them talking, let them talk. Let the other person feel like the idea is their own. So let them talk themselves into the sale. You can definitely guide that in the direction. And my husband is watching right now, but I'm going to tell you right now that is a psychology I use in my marriage all the time. I always work that situation and let him come up with the idea on his own, even though I have been guiding him in that direction the whole time. So, tip for the ladies there. Try to see things from the other's point of view. When you can be empathetic to where they're at in the situation, thinking of them leaving the store with whatever they bought from you or living their life with whatever product they bought from you, see how it could impact their lives positively, and then move forward with talking about the benefits, because you can relate the benefits to that person's life. So try to see things from the other's point of view. Be sympathetic with the other person's ideas and desires. So when someone is talking to you about their desires and their ideas and what they like and be sympathetic with that. Don't be judgmental. Don't be critical, but listen to their ideas and then, oh, I can see how that, would work, or, oh, I can see why you would want that. Appeal to nobler motives. And to me, this means being genuine. So do you have an ulterior motive? Is it visible? It should not, you need to think about the long term with your clients and customers. Don't think about just what you're selling them today. Think about how you can build a relationship with them and be able to help them even more. Day after day after day, you can be their go-to guy. So appeal to nobler motives. Help enough people get what they want, and you will have everything you want. Dramatize your ideas. Paint a picture. Really take what's in your head and how it would help the person you're talking to, and show them with your body language and with your I talk with my hands a lot, but just make sure that your ideas are coming across in a vivid, colorful way. Throw down a challenge. Give a call to action. At the end of your conversation with this person, there needs to be a call to action. Okay, so one of my calls to action at the end of my pitch, when I go talk to people and I have an appointment with them and I go and I do the estimate, at the very end of it, I say, okay, you want to go ahead and get this in the books? And that is their time then to make a decision. At that point, they have to make a decision. They're on the spot. So throw down a challenge. I like that. Okay. So Zig Ziglar actually said this, and I read this a long time ago, and it was really impactful to me. This made a huge impact on the way I dealt with people. But sales is literally just a transfer of feelings. And that is why you have to prepare yourself to be in front of people, because the feelings you want to transfer are the good feelings. You want to transfer the feelings that are positive and are impactful and are they're going to, you're transferring vibrations to other people. So you want to make sure that the feelings that you're carrying and you're wearing are ones that you want to transfer. So the number one way to increase sales is believe in what you're selling. Okay. So when you're selling something and you feel so passionately about how wonderful it is, you're going to transfer that to the person you're talking to, and they're going to feel it and they're going to want what you got. Period. Okay. So again, people buy people, not products. So you have to become a product of the product. So what does it mean to be a product of the product? It's quite simple. Be a living example of what you sell, recommend or advise others, personify what you preach, show, don't tell, and lead by example. Okay, so being a product of the product, no matter what you're selling, most companies will, or even, if it's your own thing, will give you access to what you need to be able to use it, put it into your daily activity schedule, wear it, whatever. You're going to have access to it. So you have to use it and love it so that you can transfer that love to someone else. Why is this so important? Again, it's quite simple. I would be incredibly skeptical about taking financial advice from someone who's broke, fitness advice from someone who's unhealthy, dating advice from someone who's always single, life advice from someone whose life isn't at all that interesting. I wouldn't hire someone to build a website for me. Their website looked like garbage. The list could go on and on, but I think we all get the point. If you are not a product of the product, there are major red flags that immediately go off in my head that are most likely insurmountable. This was written by John B. Peterson, and I thought it was a great example of why it's so important to become a product of the product. If you ever wonder why you know, companies like, you know, Pampered Chef, when you sign up to be a distributor, they give you a big kit and you use it. And guess what? I'm going to tell you, I was a Pampered Chef lady for a long time. And I have so much Pampered Chef stuff because I kept buying it because I loved it so much because of that little bitty bit they gave me in the very beginning. And that is true. It's like when you become a product of the product, you don't have to convince anyone. You are a walking billboard. So it's, you know, you really got to use your stuff. Okay, so we're wrapping it up here. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie is our book suggestion today. I hope that you guys will get a chance to read it. You can, I'm going to show you here. Hold on, I'm going to show you something really quickly. Sorry, you're listening to me type. I think this is it right here. Okay. I'm going to change the source so you guys can see this. Okay. Make sure you can see this. Wow, there's a lot of people on here. Hi, everybody. I was not looking because I was on the other page. But okay, so here is the PDF by Dale Carnegie. Okay, so I just typed in my Google search bar, How to Win Friends and Influence People PDF, and look what came up. It is the book. Sorry. Okay, so here you go. If you want to read it, here it is. Okay, here's the table of contents, fundamental techniques in handling people. We talked about that. Ways to make people like you. We talked about that. And then it goes on, and there's more. And I always recommend buying the book because you can have that forever and ever and ever. And by the time you print this out on your computer, it's going to cost you as much in ink and paper as it would have cost you to buy it in the first place. This book has been around a long, long time. And so I'm sure that you can find it at a used bookstore somewhere for really inexpensive. Or there's always the trusty library. So I'm going to switch back over to Facebook. I know it's going to look the same to you, but it looks different to me. I'm going to just open it up for any questions. If anybody has any questions, please shoot them out to me. I would love to answer them. If you have any questions or you have any comments or you have any whatever, maybe you have some criticism, I'll take that too. Whatever you've got, I'll take it. So I'll just give you guys a few minutes if you want to throw out a question or a comment. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this up. I have been on for a lot longer than I anticipated, but I felt like this was a super duper important lesson today because I think so many people really want to be successful in this field and they're just not sure how to really talk to people. And it's definitely not something you're born with. So don't think that. Don't think that because you weren't born an extrovert that there's just no chance in you ever being successful in sales. Don't think that for a moment, because the fact of the matter is that sales skills and people psychology is a learned art form. It is not something that you're born with, and you literally have to work at it. And if you want a sales career, you're going to have to really work at becoming an influencer and at becoming a really great friend, because all of your customers and clients should be treated as if they are one of your closest friends. So I enjoyed this session tonight. I hope everyone else did. Of course, this will be posted on my page, so you can always watch it on the replay, but just for tonight, I'm going to say good night and thanks so much for tuning in.